Shalom. I want to start by giving all praises to Yahweh Ba'Sham Yahushai, Baruch Kodash, double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. A salutation to all your Akim across the world who do this work in sincerity and in truth, and Shalom to the few sincere sisters who do their best to please Yahweh Ba'Sham Yahushai. So I stumbled on this article and I thought, I'm gonna do a video on this because so-called British Indian. Well, I was talking about them coolies, and they are busy, because in Suriname they have this president. I believe his name is Santoki, and he's a coolie, and so he already declared a day, special day for a so-called feast day or Remembrance Day for them coolies, concerning because they were hired. Don't forget, our forefathers, and me myself, my parents are from the islands of Curacao. So there's also, it's also Southern America, and Suriname is in the same region, basically. So we used to be colonies of Holland, and we used to be slaves. And what I know from Curacao and Suriname also, I know that I don't know exactly which countries they were ruling in Suriname before the Dutch. I don't know if there were others. But from Curacao, I know they had the French, they had the English, they had the Spaniards, they had the Portuguese were there, and the Dutch were the last, and they were the brutest, the hardest, the harshest, and they had brutal punishments, and they also, when all the other Edomites stopped with slavery, they continued for at least another 10 years. So last 1st of July, it was. I said that they remembered that it was 150 years ago that the slavery stopped, and already the Santoki, I believe, even the same day or day after or day something, I don't remember exactly what day it was, but he declared it also a day because then that was the day that the coolies uh, came work, they were hirelings, so they came to work because slavery was done, and they still, the Edomites still had a lot of work to be done, to be taken care of. So there were a lot of coolies they came to Suriname to work there. So now they want to also, I was reading this article, I'm like, okay, so now you also want to remember that y'all set foot on Suriname, and the coolies didn't even they didn't, how you said it, they did not only went to Suriname, because I know they also went to Jamaica, but they were straight from they were straight from India, I think. Yeah, they were straight from India, and this one they came. A lot of them came from England, I believe. So they simulated. I'm gonna read the article in a minute, but it also had me thinking, because I did a video like maybe a year ago, something concerning this Rasta thing. It's from the coolies. The coolies have been doing that. You can check it. Check from coolie Indian witch doctors or whatever. Or they call themselves medicines men. And you see them with dreads, or just go on Google and type in Indian with dreads, and then you'll find them, because they came in there and they used to lock their hair with cow dung and pee in it, and then Jake started doing the same thing, because that's Jake. Jake sees something. Same with the haircuts, we ain't supposed to be shaving, having this fresh haircut, this baldness on your head, this against the law, Matter of fact, let me grab that real quick, because Jake loves to do that, have this fresh cut, with all these figures in it, Let me see. Book of Leviticus. So let me see. So this is the book of Leviticus, chapter 19, verse 27. Ye shall not round the corners of your heads, neither shall thou mar the corners of thy beard. So that means no lineups, and you also ain't supposed to show any baldness. So no shaving on your head, Let me see. And that's this the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 21, verse 5. They shall not make baldness upon their head, neither shall they shave off the corner of their beard, nor make any cutting in their flesh. So, so we ain't supposed to do that. The laws were only given to the children of Israel, so-called Negros, Latinos, and the so-called Indianos. And let me show that to, let me see. Oh yeah, let me jump to the book of Psalms. So that shows you that the laws were only given to us, the so-called Negros, Latinos, and the so-called Indianos. Let me see, so-called Indians, like the natives, Indians that you have in Brazil, those are northern tribes. So this is the book of Psalms, chapter 147, verse 19. He showed his word unto Jacob, his statutes and his judgment unto Israel. So Jacob, when he wrestled with the angel, his name changed into Israel. And he's the forefather of the 12 tribes of Israel. So, there you have it. Verse 20, he had not dealt so with any nation, and for his judgments they have not known them. Praise ye Yahweh. So it's only for us, to begin with. And yeah, let me go to the article. So let me see. British Indian immigration simulated historical crossing to Suriname. In Suriname, it was moderated exactly 150 years ago. That exactly 150 years ago, the first. So that even they don't even mention the Jakes, and this show you, like that all these heathens, they are against us because they don't, we've been, Jake been waiting for an apology. Now it's 150 years ago. So the so-called peasant king, I don't give shit about this apology. Doesn't mean shit. Prince Willem Alexander, fuck him. I want him in change. And I don't give a fuck about him. So people be like, oh, he finally said sorry, this, that. He's so-called busy, I did video on that. This dude is busy with the investigation to check, to see what his family, the Oranges, which name they already stole, what their part was concerning slavery. Well, everything that your ass own is from slavery, These people, these Edomites from Holland, they are so wicked. During the First World War, they had a cocaine factory going on in Amsterdam. They had in Indonesia there was a colony of them, so they were I said planting the cocaine plants, the cacao. I don't know how you call them, but even the plants that they use where they get the cocaine from. So they were growing it there because there they had a perfect climate, the tropical climate over there. So they were growing the plants over there and bring it to Holland to process it. So they had a factory, a cocaine factory, a serious factory. And they were selling cocaine, in tubes, in beautiful boxes to both sides, all sides of the people who were fighting. And they were advertising like, if you got somebody fighting and if you love him, you give him this. So this shows you how devilish these Edomites here in Holland are, Not to forget, they were the first one, these Edomites from Holland, they were the first one who sent a slave ship from the west coast of Africa to America. And they were the last one to stop with slavery. So that already should show you that they're gonna get a special reward for that. And I keep saying this many times, but they are very special, so they're gonna receive something special, that's a fact. And now there's also a thing. So here in Holland, they also made it forbidden to use the word coolie. So if you tell a coolie that he's a coolie, it's discrimination. So he can file a complaint. And believe me, if you curse out a coolie and you call him a coolie, you said something like vieze kanker coolie or something like that, then he's gonna file you for discrimination. You can doubt on that, So this shows you how special they are. And don't forget, here in Holland, I don't know how they do it in other countries, but they feel themselves very white. Doesn't mean they could be so dark that you when he smiles you only see his teeth. He could be so dark, but he still thinks he's the same as the Edomite. These coolies, yeah, they really think they are the same as Edomites. There was this Jake here in Holland, from Curacao. and he always used to mimic this coolie, and he used to make this joke that he called himself. He's like, no, I'm not black. I'm dark white, and it's really, it's real funny that he used to do that, and he used to mimic that coolie perfectly. How they don't like Jake, because they really hate Jake. In Suriname, it's the majority of coolies that owns all the stores and everything. And now they have this coolie presidents and all these things are going on. So now I never heard them, how is it that they did a passage from the west coast of Africa to Suriname. How the slaves went to Suriname. And don't forget, so they had slaves coming from west coast of Africa to Suriname, but you already had indigenous peoples over there. There were northern tribes over there already, in Suriname. The Ingis, This, yeah, I think the majority of them is Reubenites, Yeah, like you had on the islands, Curacao, Aruba. I think even on Bonaire, Sint Maarten, I think you had the Arawak, Also you also had them in Suriname also, the Arawak, so-called Indians, Those are northern tribes. Could be Reuben, Reuben or... I don't know. I don't think that Arawak is Gad, but they are northern tribes. I don't know exactly which tribe Arawak, which tribe they would go back, but they are northern tribes. That's one thing that I know for sure. So they were already there. So yeah, and the Dutch were the worst there. They even had a painting how they used to punish Jake over there in Suriname. That also shows you they would read the Bible, because they had a big fishing hook, and they would stab it in the side of a Jake, place it under the fifth rib, and hang him on a tree. If he's with his hands tied on his back, if he survives, he survives. If he dies, he dies. And this was a painting, this depiction of this. They had this on as golden couch, where the so-called queen used to drive around, once a year in Holland, and they had and slaves on it, a golden couch all decked with gold, with slaves on, with paintings of slaves on it, That's the shit that these Edomites used to do, man, here in Holland. Now nobody's talking about the golden couch because they have it in storage, but yeah, yeah, man. So let me go back to the article. British Indian immigration simulated historical crossing to Suriname. In Suriname, it was commemorated that exactly 150 years ago, the British Indies immigrants set foot ashore with the ship Lala Rook. Get the fuck out of there. Where they were put to work as contract laborers on the plantations controlled by the Dutch. The arrival of the clipper was simulated during the celebration on the Suriname River. So now they don't even want... Oh, you gotta be subscriber, fucking devils. But, so... So they don't even want Jake. Jake, these things that they done with Jake hasn't been done with no other nation. But the scripture said reward are double. So all your heathens gonna get it. All your heathens gonna get it. Your coolies, you're gonna have your feast day. Enjoy your feast day. You are a protected creature here in Holland. Because nobody can call you a coolie anymore. But hey, don't think you're gonna escape your judgment. But yeah, I saw this article, so I had to think about a couple of scriptures, and I'm just gonna read it. Let me see. Let me jump to the book of Lamentations. Chapter 1, verse 21. They have heard that I sigh. There is none to comfort me. So all the heathens, the day that Jake went into slavery, none of them, but all the times, none of them felt sorry for us. All the times that he went in, and even the last captivity, they still... don't forget, and this is also part of the curses, Deuteronomy chapter 28 and verse, let me see real quick, because all these heathens, they got a name for us, they all got a name for us. Like the coolies, they say Kafri Panda, I know this Muslim said Khabib, I believe. So they all got, of course you got nigger, wetback, spick, so you got all these names for Jake. So they all it shows you that they all hate us, you know. Let me see. So this is the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 37. And thou shalt become an astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations whither the Lord shall lead thee. So this part of the curses. So, even here in Holland, I grew up with a song, Moriaantje, a song about a Moorish boy. He was black as star, and he went out without a sun blocker, a parasol, I don't know how you call it in English, like an umbrella, but especially for the sun, and this and that the sun burned on his head. And, I don't remember exactly the lyrics, but when I grew up, I was like, oh, fucking devils, man. I didn't really, but right then I didn't really understand that it was our own people, Moorish. I didn't understand, but I saw it was so-called black people. So I knew it was about us, but I didn't know the story about the Moorish people. I found out later. Same thing as that I found when I found out, like, oh, we are Jacob descendants. And then it became clear that we in West Africa a lot of Jakes are also living. But back in the days when I was younger, I used to roll. I still see some of them, and but I used to roll. I used to know a lot of so-called West Africans. I used to go to a lot of parties with them. Even back years ago, I had even a female. I was even with a female from West Africa. But later I understand, that you're basically that we all brothers. But yeah, back to the article of Slakia, back to the scripture, Book of Lamentations, chapter 1, verse 21. They have heard that I sigh, there's none to comfort me. All my enemies have heard of my trouble. They are glad that thou hast done it. Thou wilt bring the day that thou hast called, and they shall be like unto me. And we are waiting for that day. Believe me, we are waiting for the day. Because, so these coolies, they waited 150 years. So as soon as Jacob something, some acknowledgement concerning slavery, they are ready to jump on it and, be like, yeah, man, but don't forget about us, because I posted an article earlier concerning that national feast day, remembrance day for them coolies over there, and now they are protected species here in Holland, Verse 22, let all the wickedness come before thee, and do unto them as thou hast done unto me, for all my transgressions, for my sighs are many, and my heart is faint. Because we didn't went into captivity because the Most High didn't wanted to destroy us, but we went into captivity because we didn't want to keep the law, statutes, and commandments. We were sacrifices to idols and doing all this wicked shit that the heathens were doing. And let me explain that by the book of Baruch, chapter 4, verse 6. You were sold to the nations not for your destruction, but because you moved Yahweh to wrath, you were delivered unto the enemies. For you provoked him that made you by sacrificing unto devils and not to Yahweh. Yeah, and that's the thing that we went do that we were doing all the time until this day. You got a people following this Islam, Jehovah wickedness, all kind of Christianity bullshit, So yeah, and a lot of time when you tell Jake, like, yeah, hey, we are Jacob descendants, we are the chosen people, and then they start talking about the other people. Yeah, but we all bleed the same. We all got red blood, this and that. What about them? What about the white man? This and that, blah. Man, hey, everybody hate us, man. Everybody is ready. From the moment when Jake fall down, everybody want to kick him. But yet Jake want to save everybody, But like the scripture said, hand join hand. If you want to join hand with these Edomites or the other heathens, you're gonna destroy it with them. With the Sodomites and all that. This is the book of Psalms, chapter 73, verse 8. They are corrupt and speak wickedly concerning oppression. They speak loudly. And also, of course, these coolies, this coolie has been set there. Of course, he's been set there by the Edomites. I think Holland got a big finger in that, by doing that. Probably. Wouldn't surprise me, But yeah. All these heathens, they don't want to acknowledge the pain that Jake is going through. They don't give a shit about it. Don't forget, I think until this day that they still have Jake in slavery. Yeah, in Libya they used to do it. A lot of times, they went to Africa. Basically, yeah, they are also in Africa, but they want or would go to some of those countries. They even catch Hamites, but also Jake, and they like to catch little girls and use them as house slaves. This Muslim people, they love to do that, over there. And I even knew, like I think it was Syria or Libya. I'm not sure, man. I think it was Syria that like years ago I saw this clip. Somebody taped it secretly when they had just refugees from West Africa and they were sold into slavery. Yeah, right there. And like I said, they got all these names for us. Bilal, I think, and or Khabib and something stuff like that. So they got all these names for Jake. Which basically goes back to slave or whatever. No, it's nothing positive. That's a fact. So this is the book of Obadiah, and let me see, verse 15. For the day of the Lord is near upon all the heathen, as thou hast done, it shall be done unto thee. Thy reward shall return upon thine own head. So all your heathens outside of the nation of Israel, you all are included. You're all gonna get it because you all had, in a way, either you had us in captivity, or you still be mistreating us, or you are profiting from the fact that you are above us. So like for example, on Curacao, if you look at the supermarkets, and yeah, the supermarkets, the mini markets, a lot of food establishments, they are all owned by Chinese, even bakeries and stuff. Chinese own that. The majority on Curacao is Chinese, and then you have on Suriname, the majority who owns everything there is the coolies. So that shows you that even the Chinese, they are profiting from the fact that they are above Jake. And don't forget, this Chinese also got a very deep hatred for Jake. Don't forget what happened during the C-19 when the C-19 broke out, when they started this beautiful C-19 play. They were, in China, you had a lot of Nigerians living there. They were pulling them out of the houses and beating them and blaming them for the C-19. Those are the things that these Chinese people are doing, and they are known for mimicking Jake, playing blackface and all that shit. So hey, you Chinese, you Ching Chongs, fucking Chinks, you're gonna get it too, man. You better realize. This is the book of First Maccabees, chapter 2, verse 10. What nation had not a part in the kingdom and got enough for spoils? Yeah. Name one nation that didn't profit from the fact that Jake is down like this, You can name not one nation. They all had, they all been enjoying it, whether they have stores or whether they have Jake in a low position, because don't forget the Suriname, the regular Jake is really poor, So yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it like that. So yeah, so with that, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Ba'asham Yahushai, Waharuka Kodash, a double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone for teaching us the scriptures, among other things, and salutations to Akim across the earth for doing this work in sincerity and in truth. So with that, I'm gonna say Shalom.